Peterson has unlocked something, because I think you've acknowledged for the last month that Trevor's playing faster, moving quicker. Yes. Is that still maintain? Do you still maintain that's why he's better? They sped him up.
Well, I think Trevor Lawrence is clearly a plus thrower. I wouldn't call him a special thrower. He's a plus thrower. He's long. He's lanky. He needed to be quicker in everything he did. And this is where coaching comes in. And there's nothing, by the way, to me, there's nothing wrong with saying that a coach helped a quarterback. That is not a knock on a quarterback. You know, Trevor Lawrence, because of the world in which we live, since he's been in high school, he's been talked about as if he's generational, and that's not his fault. But Trevor Lawrence needed work when he got to the NFL. He was a bit of an overstrider. He was a little slow in things that he did. He threw a ton of tunnel screens in college. You almost have to disregard those throws when you evaluate a quarterback. So he needed work on being quicker in his drop, quicker in his set, less of a strider, which helps with his ball placement, because then he doesn't become scattershot because he hurries his stride. And all these things have taken place over the course of this season, which have made him look more compact, play more efficiently, be more consistently precise with his ball location. So he's clearly become a better player as this season has progressed. And he's playing at a very high level right now.
You know, I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes the story is better than reality. I said this years ago when Russell Westbrook won the MVP in basketball. I said the story of him winning because Kevin Durant bailed on him. The story is better than the player. He doesn't make anybody better. The story's great. Kevin Durant leaves him. He wins the MVP. The reality is not as great as the story. So the story now in Brock Purdy is, oh my God, look at what an upgrade. What's the tape say on the Niners' seventh final pick, Mr. Irrelevant? What's the tape say on Purdy?
Yeah, and I think this is a great segue, because this is another example where he's operating the offense very efficiently, but it's a really well-schemed, well-designed offense, as you know. Kyle Shanahan does a phenomenal job. He has for years. I've been fortunate enough in my career to sit down and talk with Kyle and get some of his thoughts. And he is really, really good at how he goes about attacking defenses. Now, Purdy is executing at a high level. I would say he's brought two things to the Niners offense that Jimmy G, who you and I both like, and I think he's been a very effective quarterback in this offense for years, but two things Purdy brings that Jimmy G does not. Number one, they can do more play action boot. They can get him outside the pocket because he has lighter feet than Jimmy G. And secondly, he does bring a little bit of that second reaction movement element for the same reason. He's a better athlete. He can get outside the pocket when the pocket is squeezed or closed down and he's forced to move. So I think he does bring those two elements. But other than that, it's the same offense. It's the same kinds of throws. And these are difficult throws that the Niners ask their quarterbacks to make. A lot of throws between the numbers where there are a lot of bodies.
Yeah. So a big game, Buffalo, obviously off the DeMar Hamlin situation. We're getting good news today, but that's it's going to be a very interesting weekend for this franchise. Heavy hearts there, and they play New England. It's a testament to Belichick's coaching. That offense just does not offer a ton. It's just
no.
I mean, I'm no expert. It's hard to watch.
Yes.
But is there a style or a way they could beat Buffalo and get in the playoffs?
Well, these teams played 4 weeks ago, and Buffalo held the ball for 38 minutes. That can't happen. You know, the Patriots are not a big play offense.
No.
So when you're not a big play offense, you have to sustain offense. And we know Mac Jones has been very up and down. The one thing that has been concerning to me just watching tape is he's missed so many basic reads, and that's not a function of coaching. These are basic reads, Colin. I mean, this is day one, day two install kind of reads. So that's not coaching. So to control the ball, they need their running game, which I think they thought it would be the case when they started this season. They need their running game to be a sustaining piece of their offense, and it hasn't been on a weekly basis. And I think that's going to have to be a factor in this game if they're to have a shot. Now, again, we can't speak to anything involving the Bills. I don't want to. None of us know. We just don't. But assuming somewhat normalcy in the game itself between the lines, the Patriots are going to have to sustain offense and hold the ball.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to be very difficult for them to really score enough points.
Yeah. I want to talk Green Bay and Detroit. I said earlier there's some painful offenses, New England one of them. Detroit's not a great team, but I think they're really clever offensively. And they get the right people the ball in the right spots. They also keep Goff's feet comfortable, which is important for Jared. So do they have a shot against this Green Bay defense, which has become more ball hawking in the last month? Tell me why Detroit's so much fun to watch. What does the film say?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said fun. I was just about to say they're one of the most fun teams to watch. In some ways, they're old school in terms of what they do with play action. We've reached the point in the NFL where it seems like everybody plays out of the shotgun.
Right.
They put Goff under center and they run play action. Goff is phenomenal, as is the pass game, out of play action with him under center. And there's a reason for that, because when it takes longer for the mesh point to define itself, whether it's run or pass, which it does take longer when you're under center, that forces second-level defenders, linebackers, it could be a safety, it could be a slot corner. They have to wait and see, is it a run, is it a pass? Because it looks the same, so it takes longer. And also then it allows your routes to develop further down the field because it takes longer. So their play action pass game is phenomenal. The Packers have not defended the play action pass game really well. The Packers play Darnell Savage as their slot corner now. That is an area to look at in this game because the Lions under Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, really do a nice job with multiple location spots for all their receivers. So this to me is a really intriguing matchup on that side of the ball.
By the way, Green Bay's on a 4-game winning streak. It still feels limited. I think they've just sort of found their identity. But, I mean, let's talk Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson. I do think Watson now is a legitimate deep threat. Is that fair?
I would agree.
Okay.
But it does feel limited. You're right, because they're not winning because Aaron Rodgers is going 30 for 40 for 420 and 4 touchdowns. And that's the way we're used to seeing Green Bay win. They're winning in a kind of an odd way offensively. Rodgers does not necessarily throw for a lot of yards, but he makes 2 or 3 phenomenal Rodgers throws a game.
Yeah.
Their run game is kind of, maybe one week it's really good, maybe one week it's not so good. You know, their defense has played really, really well. You know, I think the 2 linebackers, Campbell, who's been a really good player for them for a couple of years, and the rookie Walker out of Georgia, you're dealing with 2 guys that are 6'4", 235, 240. They are really impressive athletes at linebacker in their nickel defense.
Yeah. Finally, Tampa and Tom are pretty anemic unless they speed it up. For some reason... Right. For some reason, when they speed it up, it works. Other than that, it's the Patriots. It is a hard watch. So you tell me, it's our big play of the week. Let's talk a little about Brady and where they are now.
Yeah, they have been a tough watch because their O-line has not been very good. They've not been able to run the ball at all, as you know. And Brady's not been comfortable in the pocket, and he doesn't have anything else to do. He's not a movement player.
Right.
So when the pocket is collapsing or he's uncomfortable, he doesn't look very good either, and he's missed a lot of throws this year. But last week, they had their 2 tackles back, Wirfs at right tackle, Smith at left tackle. He was much more comfortable in the pocket. He even got later in the down. He's been getting rid of the ball, Colin, so fast. Last week, he could stay later in the down and make throws. And then you saw a couple of throws that were just really good deep throws. And that's going to be one we're going to show right now. So let's go to that. This was a 30-yard touchdown on 1st and 10. And this was one of his 3 beautiful throws to Evans. He just dropped it right in the bucket. So Brady's in the gun on this play. As I said, it's 1st and 10. You're going to see them in a 2-by-2 set. And Mike Evans is going to be the number 1 receiver to the wide side of the field. Now, the Panthers play kind of a 4-across umbrella coverage here. And the reason it looks like this is because they have a 7-man pressure front. So right now, this looks like pressure to Tom Brady in the offense. This is the matchup to look at, Henderson versus Evans. Now, Henderson is fascinating here because he is kind of playing the pressure front that his team is showing. So what happens here? He has his eyes inside. He's anticipating, Colin, the ball coming out quick because there's a pressure front which Brady is looking at. So his eyes are inside. He's flat-footed. He's not in good position to play the vertical route at all. And Evans runs by him, and Brady drops it right in the bucket. And you can actually see that really clearly from this angle. Henderson's looking inside. You can see it. And as soon as he does that and stops his feet, Evans can run by him. But they hit 3 long touchdowns last week. That's not going to happen every week. They still need to develop some kind of run game. They still